How's everybody doing today? I'm doing this not podcast, I guess it's sort of something like that. But to go over a lot of things that I've used to find peace and to find understanding within myself, to become a better person, to not only, better shape my life, but better influence those around me, whether that's family, friends, your spouse, whatever. We all have steps that we can take to make our lives better, and it takes us looking in the mirror and understanding where our trauma comes from, why we do the things that we do, why we did the things that we did, and what we hopefully can attain in the future and how to get there. Give you a little backstory of who I am and what I've been through and what I stand for. I was an addict of over 15 years, very hard substance abuse. I had a feeling that, there was a pill for everything. Anything that was wrong in your life, that, you could go find something pharmaceutical that would fix whatever the problem is. While that pharmaceuticals can help somebody get to a point where they need to be, they aren't for everything, and the way I was using everything quickly got out of hand. Pills were my biggest problem, but I used many things. I used, cocaine, everything but heroin and fentanyl. I had a lot of problems with. And I was able to get through these things by finally believing in myself and finding a support system that I had to build within myself first before I could, start talking to other people about it, before I could fully heal and before I could even start my healing journey. My mental health was way out of whack. Couldn't keep things in line with myself. I was a pathological liar. There's many things that I saw in the mirror that I didn't agree with. And that was a big thing for me is, even when you're unhappy and very lost in life, the mirror is a very rewarding and scary place at the same time to stand in front of. It's hard to stand in front of the mirror and deeply look at yourself and understand, there's a lot of things that you don't like about yourself, and there's a lot of things that you wish you could change. And sometimes, I didn't know where to start. Even after being blessed with, my wife, there was a lot of things I didn't know how to address or how to fix. Whether it was me not dealing with trauma, reverting all of my emotions into anger, which was a huge problem for me and something I still have to tackle day to day. Because every emotion to me was a lot easier to portray as anger. And if it was too hard for me, I could be angry about it. If it made me sad, I could be angry about it. Even happiness, I could be angry about. And it's taken a lot of continuing growth and staying aware as to what is going on in your mind, how you view the world, and to recognize red flags. Because that's something that we are very prone to do for other people. We can recognize a red flag, but we need to be able to recognize red flags within ourselves. And that is something that I've just now gotten to. And I want to continue to try to make the world a better place and help people out of dark times, because I've faced so many myself. And I know how lonely and depressing and how it feels like, nobody else in the world could be feeling like how you're feeling. But I guarantee you there are so many people out there that do. And that the emptiness that you feel, and when you feel like a burden because you're so empty, you're so lonely, you feel like you don't bring anything to the table. There's so many things you can do. And I'm going to go over some of these things with you guys. This is going to, have to do with mental health and staying clean in recovery, or if you're an addict, what you can do, and using music, art, and love and self-healing and recognition as a healing guide And I hope you can understand where I'm coming from, and I hope you can use this information for your own lives. And before I do this, I want each and every one of you watching this to know that you're important, and that there is not another one of you out there. And no matter how bad you feel right now, everything is going to turn around as long as you view it that way. As long as you think about how things are going to get better, what you're going to do to make things better. Start with one little change a day, whether it's making your bed, cleaning the dishes, something you don't do every day, just to better your life a little bit. And I promise over a bit of time, you'll see such a change and a lot more understanding as to where you might be lost and confused right now. What you have to do is you have to acknowledge and prepare yourself. I had to recognize trauma, and trauma is a lot more than just those big things that happened in your life that, some people are like, this is the way I am and I'm this way because this happened to me. Okay. When people say that, that is a big, big red flag for themselves, that they need to dig. And I call them trauma stems, all the way down to the bottom. You keep looking, you keep looking, you keep looking. Some of us, a lot of us, I have included, have blocked out some memories. Things weren't, the greatest. And that good memory in the past that may overshadow the bad memories sometimes when you think about them because they're on the forefront of your mind, they can do a lot of damage. They can make you sit there and think everything is okay, and that maybe it's a relationship, it's you're somebody you're related to, a spouse, something. You have to stay on top of that and understand that those small memories that are good memories, completely covered and scattered with bad memories and traumatic events that happened to you, you can't let that good memory keep letting you make the same mistake by being hurt and going back and trying to do something that you've tried time and time and time again to make right when it's not any good for you. That was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn myself. I've had to, let go of family members. I've had to let go of friends. When I realized that my circle is what's going to define me, who I put myself around, who I let around my family and mine, I had to realize that they had to be the people I look up to. As I wake up every day with a goal to help myself while helping other people. And it's tough sometimes. Acknowledging all the painful experiences that you've been through and the impact on your life. We are not too weak to overcome. No matter what it is you've gone through, whether it's addiction, assault, manipulation, verbal, physical abuse, you name it. You are strong enough. We are all strong enough. And if I can make it through anything, you can make it through anything. And I'm really big on unity and love. If we all just took a little bit of empathy into our hearts and understood where everybody else stood and how it feels to be in somebody else's shoes, this world would be a different place. Make sure that when you're feeling lost, or you're feeling lonely, or you're feeling something that, you don't want to feel, or you're tired of feeling that way, make sure that you consult somebody. Whether it's a best friend that has good intentions for you. Don't get the best friends that are telling you everything you want to hear. Okay? Because you're not going to go anywhere but in the same spot, or worse. You need somebody that's going to object to you. Somebody that's going to give you advice like, hey, I think you can do better than what you're doing right now. I think you can do this. I think you can do that. If you, put your mind to it. And those people will make you strive to be better and strive to look deeper within yourself, to become a better person, to analyze the things that you may not agree with right away, and to help yourself understand what you need to do to, make everything the way you want them to be. Good support groups. If you don't have, if you're in a city or something, you're far away from, your friends or whatever, a good support group for whatever it is you may be going through. There's a support group for everything. I'm trying to be a musician as well as somebody that tells his story and the things that I've been through, and use my testimonies as in a way to help other people and help them see that they are worth way more than they may think they are. Because I've had those days and I've had those times where I just didn't feel it. I didn't feel worthy, felt guilty. And there's still times, those days will creep in, and it's a battle that goes on forever once you really start paying attention to it and trying to rein it in, I guess, in quotes. You have to just understand yourself, and in order to do that, you have to look deep within. I always had, my wife was my best friend, and she, I'd been through many, many relationships where I was very, very, very heavily used and treated very badly, and, I always believed in love, and I always dreamed of finding true love, and when she found me, I was at the bottom of the bottom. I was giving up. I went through years of being addicted to everything, and I had my youngest child, or my oldest child, that really needed me, and I was trying to get my life together, but I wasn't being given a lot of belief as far as anyone believing in me that I could do anything better with my life. And when I met her, that's where it all started, and I started doing all these things that I've been talking about. Maybe not hardcore and doing every single thing at first, but I was able to understand that there's a lot of things about me I didn't particularly like. And there's a lot of things about me that I needed to change, especially before being the father that I always dreamed of being. Growing up with not any men, with practices that I particularly believe in or use myself with my family. I looked at all the things I was around, the men I was around, and the men that I looked up to as a child, and I learned from them what I won't do as a father for mine. And really built my own way of parenting and loving my children with everything I've got. I've finally gotten to the point where I'm doing this full time, playing music around the United States, making music, getting on here, and talking with you guys, helping people out behind the scenes. It's something that really, 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 really makes me feel good. And I hope that I hope all of you can take something from this today and use it in your own lives. We are all worth way more than we think we are. Something good to do is establish some kind of self-care, a good schedule, keeping things organized, as far as what you're wanting to do, what you're trying to get accomplished. You need to have plenty of sleep. You need to eat well. That's a big one. I know that's one that I'm bad with too. I get a little down in the dumps, and I'll munch out, and not worry about what I'm eating, but I'm trying to be more active and take better care of myself so that I can be here as long as I can be. Make sure you get your exercise, and more than anything, man, just learn to relax. There has to be a point in time in your day where you have to relax. If you're running nonstop, it's going to become too much, and you have to stay aware, because we all have a breaking point. And I know some of us feel like we're stronger than the world sometimes, but we all have a breaking point, regardless of who we are. And we all need to rest. Some of us are workaholics. Some of us are, whatever our hobby is, we can't stop. It's hard sometimes, and in different reasonings. What I've always done with my trauma and healing through my mental health, I was a guinea pig as a teenager as far as the prescription medications they put me on. And I was on a lot of stuff that I was addicted to. A lot of stuff that, as a teenager, my mind wasn't even fully developed. So, being on 16 medications at once around that time, and having terrible side effects, they couldn't tell you which one it was coming from. You're taking 16 new medications that have been out maybe 10 years, and you're having this side effect. Who's to say it's coming from this pill or this pill or this pill? You know, so I really had to grow out of that. It was the biggest thing that I had to do with, as far as my addiction, was getting away from the fact that the legality and the way the doctors prescribe. I had to get out of that mindset and be honest with myself. When I went into the doctor's office, even now, when I go into the doctor's office, be honest with myself. Is that something that I truly need? Is that, you know, like I'm ADHD, and I had a problem with stimulants very badly, and I don't take them anymore. I've been offered them, and I don't feel that I'm at a point in my life where I need that, or where I, you know, I would work the best. I'm finally at that point in my head where I feel free from all that, and I may lose my train of thought sometimes, but I'd much rather that be the case than a full-on fledged, you know, addiction. Throughout my traumas, through essays and things like that, when I was a kid, and the things that I went through, I feel like my addiction and my mental health loss and getting put into an institution when I was a teenager, all of that stemmed from being physically abused as a child.
Let me show you why.
And
all my other sample libraries.
it's a hard realization, but it's a true realization. I've always used every creative outlet I possibly could to be able to heal. I didn't grow up with much money. My family didn't have much money, and I always felt I didn't need a whole lot of money, you know, to be happy. I don't need all these materialistic things. I just needed, you know, love and understanding. And you know, I had that, you know, with my mom, and you know, she was sick and stuff a lot. God rest her soul, you know, we had our hard times. But she'll always be my hero because I'm standing here and I'm doing this. This is something I believe in. I go out there and I try and help other people. And I know she's looking down proud of that. But at 13 and 14, I started really engaging with music and understanding that music helped with healing so much, whether it's poetry, writing lyrics, writing music, anything to address whatever feeling it is inside of you. And a lot of people think, you know, I can't do it. I wish I could play music. Yes, you can. I sat down at 14 years old with an old beat up acoustic guitar that hurt so bad to play. Taught myself how to play one string at a time just because I wanted to be able to feel, because I wanted to be able to make music so badly. And just writing and writing hundreds and hundreds of terribly written songs, you know, until I got my own way of writing. And I've helped many, many people over the years, even from that time, you know. I'd make everybody write a song with me. Because everybody'd be like, I can't do it. I'd be like, well, yeah, how you gonna know until you try? You know, let's sit down and write some lyrics together. It's a great thing to do. And the more you encourage other people to do so, the more they'll think about it and go and try. Poetry and lyric writing, songwriting is a huge, huge winning point for me that helped me through everything. And I encourage anybody to pick up any kind of expressive artistic activity, you know, painting, listening to music, playing music, learning new things, man. You gotta stay with it and continue to work on yourself, because you could do a little work and think you're fine. But if you do all the work, you won't realize until after you've done the work just how much you needed that. When you're processing your emotions and learning how to express things, you could do great things by, you know, journaling and recording all your thoughts, every emotion that you're feeling, when you're feeling them, and why you're feeling them, and memories related to any kind of trauma that you've been through, and taking notes. And being able to look back on those notes and fully understand things, you know, it's a good way to grow and heal. like I said with songwriting, it channeled all of my emotions from the things that happened to me, the things I was feeling, the sadness, the loneliness, the addiction, everything into lyrics and melodies that I could sing to the world and sing to myself. I wanted to keep it to myself, be able to release those things. And that's a big thing for me as a musician. That's what I've always done is, I'll write a song. I've always believed that, every tragedy you can write 7 masterpieces at least. And I've always lived life of tragedy and dealing with, tragic moments and using those moments in life to propel me in music. And as far as songwriting and stuff that, I get on stage and I play these songs over and over again and until it doesn't hurt anymore. When I first get out there, it always hurts, especially if I'm talking about something that is really, private. What most people would keep private, I'm not afraid to show who I am, and that's because I want the right people to follow me and understand, you're not alone, and to believe in yourself, because belief is the key to freedom. That's my life motto. As far as writing songs and stuff like that, if you guys have never done that, start with free writing and then learn your own structure of songs. There are different kinds of structurings for songs. Just look up a couple templates to see and go from there. And you can experiment with all kinds of genres, tempos, ways of playing, different kinds of music, and really be able to express with color and, full authenticity what you're feeling, what you're going through. With painting, you can visualize any emotion that you have through colors and textures and compositions. You can experiment with different mediums like acrylic and watercolor, other colorings like that. Create abstract and representational pieces to really show where you were at and where you're trying to get, and really show the gravity of the situation. Reflection and feedback, always do that. I do it with others and I do it with myself as well. I've had a lot of conversations with myself in the mirror. I need to do this, I need to do that. There are things that always need to be worked on and improved, even if we think we have everything together. Excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip of water. That. But stay reflecting with yourself. Make sure that you know who that person in the mirror is, because sometimes that person can get a little out there and we don't know who we are anymore. So the mirror is a scary place. I hated the mirror for many, many years, but once you get to the point where you can look at yourself in the mirror and realize what needs to be changed, it's a game changer. Keeping your head open and your hope in your heart will do many things for you, a lot for you. If you meditating is great to keep yourself grounded and to feel like you have control when you feel like you don't. I have bad anxiety. It's gotten better, but I've had to do a lot of deep breathing, meditation. Walking, find an activity that, brings me calmness. And there's so many things out there. Just stay researching, stay on top of everything, and you'll be able to find so many different ways to express yourself and to heal while you're doing that. Some people do yoga. I don't do yoga. Whatever it is you do it. If it makes you feel better, don't stop. As long as it keeps you growing, that's all you need. A lot of times you have to reframe all of the perspectives you have. Challenge all the negative self-talk, and foster self-compassion as well as compassion for others. And make that a big point for you and something that you want to do, and I guarantee you that you'll see success come from it. You can refine the things that you do creatively, your songwriting, your painting skills. Keep doing that until you get to the point where you feel you're confident and you are where you want to be. I'm personally at a place where I'm just happy to be, you know, the musician I am today. I've played a lot, and I have my own style. I didn't learn from people, except for, you know, looking at them and being like, that's something cool, you know, I might try that out. But I make everything my own and play my own way and sing my own way, though I was heavily influenced by others.
24/7.
But I always try to, you know, pay homage to all the people that have helped me throughout my life. Being a lot of musicians, they helped me through a lot of stuff, and I continue to, you know, thank them in different ways throughout my career. When you're doing music, you know, it's good to experiment with new things, new techniques, styles, collaborate with other people, and continue to grow there too as well. If you're intending on making music and using it as a way to express yourself and to heal through your generational trauma or the trauma that you've been through, you know, recently. Trauma can happen from so many things, not just, you know, what the average Joe thinks. And I was an average Joe, I thought it, or as well. You know, I had to learn a lot of things that I didn't understand, you know, through therapy and refining my life. I was able to see all those things. You got to have a gratitude practice. You know, you have to have a daily reflection on positive experiences that you've gotten from the day, the week, the month, the year. You have to be able to look back and see how much you've grown, that person you used to be. And what I do is I look back and I see the monster that I was, how I treated people, how much I cared about myself, and didn't put enough care out there for the world, which is ultimately what I wanted to do. But I became a monster, and when I could no longer look at the monster in the mirror and just be okay with being that person, I started to really make changes. And you know, a lot of those changes aren't easy. I'll tell you that right now. And a lot of those changes might feel impossible. Like you'll never get there. You'll never. Especially when you have, you know, a whole crowd of people, you know, telling you now you're not going to be able to do it. Or even that one person that you want to believe in you or be proud of you or whatever, just telling you you're not going to do it. You know? I understand that. But you have to be stronger. You've got to keep your head. You've got to keep it on. Because even if you think that, you know, life isn't what you wanted it to be, and you know it's never going to get better, and I thought that too, and I thought my dreams were to be some huge rock star with my name in the marquee, and you know, playing with the, you know, biggest bands in the world. Everybody knows my name. I don't want that. I got exactly what I want. You know, I'm a loving family that I can be here for, and to break generational chains of trauma. It's crazy how life can change when you start reflecting that way. Right? That was a dream of over 25 years. And, you know, that doesn't happen a lot. It's cool to reflect on and think about. To empower yourself and maintain yourself, you know, we've always got to do personal maintenance. Make sure that we're okay ourselves. You know, we can't be good for anybody else if we're not okay ourselves. And that's why I push for, you know, people to make not drastic changes, because drastic changes overwhelm, but little small changes at a time. You don't have to work on a whole list of things that you don't like about yourself at once. You know, you can, you know, it's, if you can, you can, but you don't have to. Small little things, little imperfections that you don't like. Just work on those. You can greatly influence so many other people's lives. You know, you need to have regular creative expression of some sort to, you know, feel the utmost of what you can feel as far as happiness and just freedom from whatever chain may bind you. You've got to make sure that you have self-care practices. A lot of us let those things go sometimes, but we have to make sure that we stay on top of that and we take care of ourselves so that we can take care of those around us, you know? There's always somebody that needs us. You remember that. somebody that needs us, somebody that only you can help out, and only you can do things for in that way, you know. So stay hopeful, you know. There's peace if you search for it, and if you work for it. There is no peace without work. You've got to try, and you've got to believe. Social connections is something I've got to work on more. I've been trying to do this more and trying to get the people that, you know, I'm targeting to go out and help, to, you know, come to my shows. I'm looking at playing the entire United States soon, and I would love to have nothing but the people who need to hear whatever I am saying and what I'm playing to put to their lives, and maybe give them some kind of belief that they can get out of the darkness that they're facing. This next thing I'm about to talk about is a big one, and I had, you know, so many issues with this because I simply didn't know how. I was losing my mind, and this is pretty recently. This was just last year and this year. I needed to set boundaries. Boundary setting is a huge step. Huge. I can't say it enough. It's a big step, and it gave me my power back once I learned how to do it. I had been miserable and so sad because of other things that were going on in my life. But I finally made it where other people weren't holding the strings anymore. You know, I was in control of my own destiny, and I wasn't going to let anybody else dictate how I was going to live my life. And it takes that. It takes that sometimes. Sometimes we do feel like a puppet. I felt like a puppet. I felt like somebody just walking on eggshells, and then I was a puppet. No matter what I did, constantly, you know, tiptoeing around, and can't make my own movements, can't say what I want to say, things like that. You know, what you have to do is you have to prioritize your own needs, and you have to learn to say no, because there's some people in your life that you're always going to be able to say yes to, no matter what they ask, no matter what they want from you. You're always going to say yes. Or you're going to feel valid. You're going to find some validation in helping them out and doing this and doing that, when sometimes you don't even realize how, you know, detrimental that person or that thing is to your life until after you've done it for so long and you look back on it. Boundary setting, man. I can't say that enough. Set your boundaries. Those people that you know shouldn't be around you, don't have them around you anymore. There's people that don't make you feel good, that make you do bad things, that make you feel bad. Don't be around them anymore. Find space. You need space to make your own circle, because you stick around hanging around your same circle. You know, always look. I like to look at my circle and look up to the people that I see. Now, you know, back when I was making terrible decisions, yeah, you know, they're doing the things I want to do. You know, they're partying, they're doing these things, or, you know, they're not the best people, but, you know, that's who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become. And that's real, recognizing real. And that's one of the biggest things as an addict, you know, somebody in recovery. That was the hardest thing for me to do, is to just completely let go of the circle that I knew forever. They were my friends, and I loved them, and had all these memories of all these great things we did. Well, when I actually started looking into every memory that I had, I was being used. I had drugs, and they wanted my drugs. They wanted the things that I could do, and it was wrong. I was being used, you know, and I took that in as, you know, these people really love and care about me. But once I started really working on myself and getting my life together and caring about my family and my career and things like that, nobody wanted anything to do with me anymore. But that's okay. That's a part of it. And you find those people that you need and that you want around you. Not only that, people that you feel comfortable around, you know, not stealing your stuff, not using you, not manipulating you, not, you know, being a bad influence, things like that. You know, it takes time to get there. Because the 20s, you know, you're like, you want to party. Teenagers and 20s, you know, you want to party, you want to do what you want to do. And, you know, you only live once, you know. I'm real big on that too. You only live once, but it's not so far as you know, go out there and do every stupid thing that you can. It's make every moment meaningful. And make every life that you touch better in some way. You know, I've just started doing this really, really hard the last year. You know, in January I became a professional musician full time, to where I could stay here and make music and play shows all the time, going all over the place, and being able to take care of my family, and I'm blessed for that. I've wanted this all my life, and I've played music since I was 14, and have been playing non-stop shows since 2017, and this year I finally got to start, you know, doing this full time without having to have another job, and I'm so thankful that day has come, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you. But what I do in that is I share all of my creative work. I share the things that I'm making. I share the things that I feel, songs that I love, all kinds of things, different testimonies, anything that I can. I share in a lot of support groups. I share whatever advice that I have that could help anybody in any kind of situation that I've ever been through. And I continue to learn everything that I can. I listen to people and their stories, their problems. I watch seminars on how to, you know, conquer something. I listen to everybody's views and statuses on mental health and art and music, and have a deep understanding of all these things. And I realize that, you know, this is what I want to do. I want to help those addicts out. I want to help those that were, you know, SA'd. Get out of those dark places that you feel like you can't get out of. Because it feels like it's a cage that's so strong that you're never going to be able to break out of it, no matter what you do, that you've tried everything. Believe me, I felt that way so many times, and I want every one of you to know that you're strong enough to get through whatever battle you're facing right now. I know that we don't have enough people in our lives these days saying things like that to you, but I hope that you believe that wherever you're at, wherever you may be watching this from, whether it's right now or you're watching it in a replay, I want you to know that you can believe in yourself, and that you are way fucking stronger than you believe you are, and that there is a light, no matter how dark life may seem. I promise. With recovery, you know, it's absolutely needed to have that support network. Like I was saying, you need to have a great circle. You need those people that you can look up to, people you can rely on. That's a big one, being able to rely on someone. You can love someone, you can care about somebody, you can do all kinds of things about whatever. But you have to be able to rely on somebody to get through and to continue believing. You can do it alone, but it's a lot harder. A lot harder. And, you know, just keeping faith in your recovery and surrounding yourself with every positive influence you possibly can. Learning new things. You know, self-monitoring. You have to recognize every trigger that you have and track your emotions. And, you know, that's a tough one for me, you know, being not only the things that I've went through. You know, I've had to deal with, you know, a life-changing accident, head injury from a ATV accident when I was 19 years old. You know, the doctors told me I'd never be able to get on stage, never be able to play music. I suffer from epilepsy, and it was a lot worse than it is now. I'm able to, you know, control it now, thank God. But it did put a lot of dampenings on my life, you know, made me scared to get on stage, made me, you know, made my anxiety terrible, because that was the last thing I wanted to do, was ever have a seizure in front of anyone. It's a traumatic experience in its own. I grew up watching my mom having them, and it, you know, scared the crap out of me. So I don't ever want to do that and have seizures in front of people. You know, it's a thing. You have to learn how to work with everything that's wrong, everything that, you know, may be a setback, but you can handle if you understand it. You got to have healthy coping mechanisms. You know, creative expression's one, exercise, having mindfulness, doing your best not to run to the thing, you know, that has always helped you, but you know deep down is not right. You know, whether it's a drink or it's a drug or whatever it is that, you know, if you're going through something really hard, and myself included, I'm guilty of it. You know, I'm guilty of saying it and doing it in the past, and, you know, it's something you have to be willing to admit. You have to be willing to admit that you've been wrong, and that there are things that you have to face that you haven't been facing. And face them head on. Just face it head on and try. Give your best shot. You know, I seeked out, professional guidance this year, and really started going to therapy a lot. I had a great therapist, and she's still there on call if I need her, or, I'm doing great, but if I need to ever go back or something really traumatic or something happens in my life, I'm able to immediately go back and start talking to her. And I'm glad that I found her, because I've had a lot of therapists over the years and throughout my life that didn't help me and just pushed me into darker places. She really helped me do what I was already trying to do, which was face all the things wrong and the things that made me the person that I didn't want to be, and grow from that and use all those things that I was as stepping stones to get to where I'm trying to be. And I'll always be appreciative of that, and I'll do my best to always get that message out to other people. This next one's a big one, and a lot of people don't like it. I didn't like it, but I couldn't stop, and I never have been able to stop. Forgiveness and compassion for yourself and other people. Forgiveness is a tough one for me. I was always very quick to forgive. Because of my empathy, I always put my feet in other people's shoes. No matter what the situation is, no matter how much they pissed me off, no matter how much I'd been wronged, whatever, somebody had been wronged, I couldn't help myself but find looking for a reason to forgive somebody, or trying to help them forgive themselves so I could forgive them for whatever that they may have done. And keeping compassion and being kind to yourself throughout hard situations is a real thing that we all could do better on. And I believe in each and every one of you guys, and I hope you guys believe in yourselves too. What I like to do is, celebrate milestones in my life. Like, every November 30th, is my sobriety date, 2017. And, it's good to, when I put all the days together, it's like, whoa, it's been that long since, I had a, cocktail and things that made me feel better, whatever it may have been, and I'm not that person anymore. And just to see how far I've grown and how much I've gotten to accomplish in the years that I've got since I've gotten clean and started trying to get everything in order, it blows my mind, and I'm so thankful, and I have so much gratitude in my heart for not only my family, what I get to do for a living, but being able to be relatable and talk to you guys on this kind of plane. I really appreciate being able to do that. But you have to acknowledge your progress, all the hard work that you do. You have to acknowledge that, and love yourself. Love yourself for the growth and the work that you're putting in. Believe in yourself. Look at yourself in a good light, and quit listening to the negative things that people have to say about you. I'm guilty of that too. Everybody wants to look at my past, and that's what they define me as. They don't look at me now. A lot of people. But that's okay. I got mad, and it hurt my feelings so much for a long time, but it's okay. Because everybody's right to think what they want to think. And if they haven't come in and learned who I am as a person now, since I've changed, or since I started putting in the work to change myself, they don't even know who I am. So they can say what they want. Free speech, whatever. You just got to learn not to let it have power over you. Being patient is a huge thing, because healing is a gradual process that we all have to work through, and we work through it at different, speeds and different ways, and just be patient. Breathe. Remember to breathe. Embrace your vulnerability. Share your stories, like I'm trying to do right now. It's hard to be vulnerable for a lot of people. It was hard for me to be vulnerable for a long time. But then once I started, really opening up, all that bad stuff didn't have such power over me anymore. And learning that I wasn't alone, and that there were so many other people out there that went through things just like me. There may be differences in details, but so many people that went through, terrible things like I did, and great things like I did. It really puts things into perspective. Try to be vulnerable with your, creative side. Whatever it is you may do, it's creative. Whatever you like to do, whatever you like to create. Whether it's art, music, building, anything. something you've made. You know, be vulnerable with it. Let your emotions be put into it, whatever it is. And you'll see a lot of change, I promise. What I do and what I've always done is I've sought out inspiration from, you know, others' art, others' music. Many musicians, all kinds of people have inspired me and continue to inspire me all the time. A lot of artists that have passed away from drugs and addiction and depression and suicide and things like that, I have a predisposal to, I guess, and I've always looked up to those people, even though, you know, they weren't able to conquer their demons. I use their stories. I feel like I know them in a way, you know. I try to learn as much as I can about them, their situations, what they went through, why they felt the way they did, so I can be a little more, you know, what's the word I'm trying to think of? A little more well-informed, that I know exactly, you know, what you may be going through, or how this may have happened, and how you may be feeling because of this, you know, rather than just my own experience. I have, you know, a lot of others as well, and I love to talk to people, and I hope that all of you are doing okay, and that you all have hope and belief as well. And if you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here. Prioritize your joys in life. Engage in activities that bring happiness to you. Like, smile. You know, sometimes you can just go around smiling, and you'll feel so much happier. You know, just smile. You know, it's a big thing. And seeing somebody smile make you smile. You know, it's contagious. Cultivate your own resilience. You got to develop coping skills that will work for you and won't harm you in the long run. My coping skills were awful for a long time. And I found peace in learning and reading and listening and watching and understanding things that I do and the things that I've done and why I did those and what I needed to take care of. There's so much that we can do, and I hope that all of you guys that have watched this can take some kind of note from something, and that it can help you heal something in your life, because you are all meant to be here, and you're all put here for a reason. I'm going to throw a few resources there on the end of this video for you guys. Turn this down a tad. So there is a National Alliance on Mental Illness, the NAMI helpline at 1-800-950-6264. Again, that's 1-800-950-6264 for the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness. There's the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA. The helpline is 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-HELP. There's the art therapy organizations out there, like the American Art Therapy Association, music therapy organizations, the American Music Therapy Organization, and many other things like that out there that you could use as tools to heal. I want you guys to remember that healing is unique to each and every one of us. Every individual has gone through something different, even though our feelings may align with each other. Embrace your journey and the things that you faced, and know that you and your expressions and the things that you do in your life can be powerful tools in recovering from any kind of trauma or addiction. I believe in each and every one of you guys. My name is Jeremy Bellamy, and I hope you guys listen to my music, follow my page, and stay up to date with everything that's going on. And more than anything, I hope you guys believe in yourselves and love yourselves, because you are worthy of it all. You guys have a great day.